Broadcasting from Silicon Valley, California, this is Conversations with Jennylyn.
You're watching Conversations with Jennylyn, and today I have another beautiful woman from the UK to share with you. She is another inspirational person, and I'm hoping at the end of this, when you've watched it, you're walking away with some new tips on how to make your life better. So I'd like to welcome Natalie King to my show. She is a DTM certified coach and a confidence expert. And I hope you are as anxious as I am to find out how you become a confidence expert. Welcome to Conversations with Jennylyn, Natalie.
Thank you so much for having me. It's really great to meet you. I've heard some wonderful things about you, so it's nice to put the face to the name.
Thank you so much. Same here. It goes both ways. You were spoken of very highly to me for a very long time. So I'm happy we finally made this connection, and we're gonna learn about you, my viewers and I at the same time. So I want to start off by asking you, what is a DTM certified coach?
Okay, so it's actually two different qualifications. So DTM is a Distinguished Toastmasters, which is, I'm a public speaker through Toastmasters International. And this means that you've fulfilled certain roles within the organization. So this is an international organization all around public speaking, and it was founded in America. So it's originated in America and it's gone global. And to become a distinguished Toastmaster, you have to give a certain amount of speeches. You need to do some leadership roles, and it is an honor to acquire it because there's a lot of work that goes into it. And then the certified coach is, I am a certified confidence coach.
Wow. I didn't even know there was such a thing. So what is the difference between a certified confidence coach and a regular coach?
Well, most coaches, if they've studied something, they should be certified because you get that certification, and my certification comes through new insights. And it just depends on who you are qualified with. I mean, you can become a coach without any qualifications, but I've qualified, I've written an exam, I've done hours of practice clients, as they call it, and I had to show what the results were from that, and hence being certified. So any coach who's got a certification would be certified.
Got it. And so how does one become a confidence expert?
Well, I don't know the way that I've become a confidence expert, and that's through my own journey. 8 years ago, I did not have any confidence whatsoever. I wouldn't talk to people. I was very alone and just scared of everything. And through learning and expanding my comfort zone, through really just pushing myself and trying to understand how I can change my life, I found confidence, and I realized that confidence is an important aspect when you're trying to create change. And through that, I've learned tools, I've learned ways that you can do things, and I've learned how to understand what confidence is and how you can use your brain to help you to find confidence. And through that, I call myself a confidence expert. There's still a lot out there for me to learn, but it's just about keeping learning and keeping finding ways that I can help people to find their superpower of confidence.
So you're the second person that I've interviewed who told me they were very introverted and now is a public speaker. Is that a difficult obstacle to overcome? Because there's so many people that I know of who are extremely shy. And what I have found as a common thread amongst them all that I know of is they've been bullied. some of them by their parents, some of them by their siblings, but most of them by people that they have really trusted, the people who have that impact on us at a very tender age in our lives that impacts how we view ourselves and how we respond to the world. Was that true for you? Is that why you didn't have self-confidence? And what tools would you have for someone watching this show who is struggling with that to overcome?
So yes, I was bullied all through my school years and in all different employment jobs that I had. I tried to change jobs to get away from the bullies, not realizing that I had to change myself and not attract the bullies. So yes, I was bullied, and that just became really difficult to. It eroded my confidence. I lost all confidence that I had as a young kid. I was often questioned about why I made my decisions, what I was doing, and it became very difficult. So I just withdrew within myself and lost all sense of who I was and no confidence whatsoever. And I just floated through life. I just got a job because I needed to pay bills. And when that didn't work out, I'd just get another job to pay bills. And there was no passion, there was no desire to do anything. And that is common with being bullied, is losing your confidence. And one of the shyness is quite, I didn't suffer from shyness. I'm an introvert, which means I like to be on my own, or I like my own company. I like things quiet. But introverts can be confident. Something I had to learn is that introverts can be confident and extroverts can have no confidence, but they're just more loud. You don't really notice it. When you are shy, that's different, and that can be caused from being bullied, but it can also be because of the way you are, or personality trait. So for me to be an introvert, it takes quite a bit to have to talk to people, to step up. But it's doable. It is doable when you have the tools in place, when you know what to do, and when you're confident enough to do it. And this is something that I found really interesting, is if you understand how these work, it's fascinating. I love working with people to see how I can help them to understand where they are coming from, what we bring with us growing up, and how we can change it and shift it into a way that helps us or helps them. Some advice that I can give people is find out who you want to be and go out and be that person. And you will have to learn a new skill. You'll have to learn ways of dealing with it, but go and be who you need to be, because shutting yourself down and not fulfilling your life and your dreams and your goals and your potential because you're worried about what other people are going to think, you're worried about the impact it's going to have on others, is be true to yourself and go out there and find ways that you can do it. If you need to become more confident, have somebody help you on their journey. I mean, I'll help you on your journey, but have somebody help you. Don't be scared to ask for help. Don't be scared to get help with building this life that you want to build. If you're in sports, you get yourself a coach. If you want to go into a gym, you have a coach. So why not have a coach who helps you in different aspects of your life? And there's so many different really brilliant coaches out there. Ask for help. Don't shut yourself down. Become who you need to be. And this is something that I'm really passionate about, because I see so many wonderful people with so much potential, and they just shut down, and they're not expressing it. They're not being who they need to be, and they're really unhappy. And life is long. You don't want to be in an unhappy situation. You don't want to be feeling that you're not being fulfilled and that you're not following your passion. Whatever your passion is, you need to follow it. But yes, you need to have the confidence to follow it. But confidence is something that you can actually learn. It's not something that you're born with. It's something that you can learn, regardless of what your past is like and regardless of your status in life. You can learn to become confident.
So I know of quite a few people who have committed suicide. And it's something that's always bothered me, only because I think a lot of people who do this feel alone and feel they're completely lost, and they can't see a way out of whatever it is that causes them to think the end was the means. So we live in a world with so many people. What do you think people, and there's a lot of people struggling with depression now because we are living in such unprecedented times where we're stumbling around to figure out what is normal.
Mm-hmm.
There's so much going on now that has shifted most people's routines. And we had anticipated, or were hoping, most of us, that by this year, we would have resumed some form of normalcy. But that is not happening yet. And so someone who's already struggling with depression, that's being told they need to be locked down at home, I would imagine this would just amplify the depression. So how does someone like that, who really can't, they've already, I think, used all the resources they've had throughout their lives, and they know, if I call Jane Doe, what she's going to tell me. If I call Tom Jones, I know what he's going to tell me. So why would I call them? I already know what they're going to tell me. And what they're telling me is not necessarily helping me. In some cases, people that we turn to in these times are not capable of understanding exactly what we need because they don't know. And oftentimes they respond
Something like
from where they're at. So what do you want to say to
mm,
people in those situations? Because it sounds like you've had some of this where you kept changing jobs because you kept encountering bullies. And what I have learned in my personal life is I attract a lot of the same because I am being taught a lesson. And until I acknowledge what I'm being told or what I'm being taught or what they're trying to bring my awareness to, they continue to throw it back on my path because it's part of my journey. It's to learn this lesson. And until then, I'll keep banging my head against the same wall. What advice do you have as an expert for someone, as a coach, that is in this situation? How do they break out of that cycle?
First of all, if somebody was suffering from depression and really in that situation, I would say to get professional help. Because there are a lot of professionals who can help with that. And depression can be a variety of things. It can be a mental health issue. It can be a bullying issue. The variety is massive. It can be grief. It can be so much. And with depression, it is useful or helpful to really get it from a professional who can help you with that. And there's many different types of professionals. With the confidence bit and just trying to deal with this year, well, 2020 and 2021, and like you said, it's unprecedented what we're living with. Here in the UK, we've been in lockdown since Boxing Day. So it is, we're limited to where we can go. It's winter, it's grey, it's dark. We don't see the sun for sometimes a week at a time. And it's just miserable. How can you help yourself to feel good or feel hopeful? It does come down to your how you think. It does come down to your mindset. It does come down to your thoughts and the way that you interact or the way that you do things. And there are times when it is easier just to get that tub of ice cream, put your head underneath the duvet and just feel really miserable and negative and just find things really difficult. But when you're in that situation, it can be hard to shift yourself out of that and think, okay, we're in this situation. What can I do to help myself not feel like that? And it's taking responsibility for the way that you feel. And I'm talking about I'm not necessarily talking about with serious depression, because that is a whole different issue that I'm not qualified to deal with. But just those bad days that we have, it is about shifting the way that your brain is thinking. It's very much okay, I have a choice. I can get my tub of ice cream. I can sit in bed and I can be miserable and negative and the whole world's against me and nothing's ever going to work. Or I can think, okay, you know what? Let me go for a walk in the fresh air. Let me see what I'm grateful for. Is there somebody I can talk to, like a friend who helps uplift me? Can I be doing something that can help? So it's about taking responsibility for your own emotions. It's taking responsibility for your own thoughts. And I know that sounds really scary, because it's when we have to be responsible for ourselves, it's like, no, I don't want to be responsible for myself. I want to blame the world on the way I'm feeling. But the only person who can shift you from negative to positive is yourself. Nobody else can do it for you. And this is one of the main things about how we can deal with the situation. We have no control over the pandemic. We have no control on whether we are in lockdown or not in lockdown, have to wear masks, don't have to wear masks. We don't have control of that. But what we do have control of is the way that we react to that. Okay, I have to wear a mask when I go out. I'm not allowed to drive more than 7 miles away from my house. What can I do to not make it feel heavy or negative? How can I find a positive spin on it? Which is sometimes hard, but it's about just thinking, okay, this situation is happening around the world, but I'm in control of the way that I react to it. And that's a powerful feeling when you realize that you actually have control over your own mind or over the way that you are thinking and how you're going to react to something.
Mm-hmm.
And this is what can help to shift the way that you feel. So I have control. I can go sit in my bed with my tub of ice cream and the whole world is against me. Or I can grab my dogs and go for a walk and just have some fresh air on my face, just, get the blood flowing. Which one's going to make me feel better? And I have control over both those decisions. Which one am I going to do? Does that make sense?
Absolutely. So what type of coaching do you provide? And what type of people do you coach?
So I do a combination of coaching and mentoring, and I normally coach small business owners who are either starting out in business or have been in business for a while but feel stuck. They don't have a lot of confidence, and that's creating this feeling of being stuck because they don't have the confidence to take the next step or to do some actions within their business that are needed so that they can progress. So that's what I help with is the small business owners or freelancers, who work for themselves. Even in small organizations, I help with staff members. So that is what I do. Is I have a system that I work with but I also like to tailor make it to each person because everybody's different. Everybody has different experiences, and I really dig deep into the person is to find out what baggage they're bringing with them, what beliefs they have that have come with them, and how we can shift that, how we can change it. And I do talk about the brain a lot, because the brain is a very powerful tool that we have, which is underutilized. And this is where I help my clients to understand how they can take control over their thoughts and over the actions that they take. And through that is you start to build confidence. You start to realize that you have a choices in how you can react to certain things. So that's what I do.
How many successful business owners have you coached into success?
Sorry, can you repeat that?
How many business owners to date have you coached where you could look back
Hang
and
on,
see
I might need you to
where
repeat it.
Pardon?
Sorry, I need you to repeat it again. You froze for a minute.
Okay. I was asking how many business owners have you coached, and you could look back and see where your coaching has played a part in leading to their success.
I have a few. I don't have a huge amount because I've had a couple of shifts within my business. I've always worked with confidence. But last year, I was coaching public speaking. I was doing public speaking courses to help people to go on stage and do public speaking. And then March happened. Nobody was going on stage. And so I've created a slight change in my business. But I have coached people who have really made a difference, especially when they've gone through the lockdown and having to deal with the negative thoughts and just thinking of feeling out of control. And through them understanding their beliefs, the limiting beliefs that we bring with us, through them really realizing who it is they want to become, what sabotages they're putting in their own way, and how they can work around it. And when you understand these, you are better able to move forward. If you know who you want to become, then you will start to step into that new identity of who you want to be. Mm-hmm. And that helps when you understand how this works, when you know what sabotage or how you sabotage yourself. Procrastination is a big one. What do you do when you procrastinate? How do you know you're procrastinating? So to help them become aware of what they do when they procrastinate, okay, so they can sit there and think, I'm actually procrastinating now. Why am I procrastinating? What can I do to stop doing it so I can get back into doing what I need to do? And it's when you understand something or have knowledge of it, you are better able to deal with it. So that's how I've helped them to move forward, to upscale their business, to really understand who it is they want to be, and what type of business they want, or what they want their business to give to them, whether it's more time, whether it's bigger income. Everybody has their different dreams and goals.
Do you ever stand back and look at yourself and think, I was this shy, introverted person who felt like I had to be silent and stay to myself and not share my views and opinions. And now you're this person who is guiding people on how to become their best. What does that feel like to you? And how long did it take you to get there?
It feels really weird. I was talking to my husband the other day, and he said, you're not the same person you were when you started. I'm like, no, I'm not. I can feel that I'm different. This journey I've been on has been 8 years. 8 years, this month. 8 years this month, when my sort of proverbial straw broke my camel's back. And from that, I've been on this journey for 8 years. And I'm looking forward to the next 8 years, to where I will be in 8 years' time, because I'm only on the journey. I'm not at the end of my journey. It does feel really weird because I'm still in contact with people I met 8 years ago, and they often just say, I remember that person who gave their first speech, who couldn't speak properly, who was shaking so much they thought I was going to have a heart attack on stage. but that helps me because it reminds me of where I started. And it reminds me that, yes, I can do it. That when a friend of mine says, I'm going to introduce you to Jennylyn, you're going to do an interview, I'm like, yes, I can do it. 8 years ago, I would have gone, I'm not doing it.
So I have to ask you, what was the straw that brought the camel's back that catapulted you to this point?
So as I mentioned, I had been continuously bullied throughout the majority of my life. And I had got myself a job, and I thought this was it. This was the job for life. It was an easy job, well-paid job. It just didn't require many brain cells. It was a good job. And I got that job, and yeah, I realized that it was not a good job, but I stuck it out. And then I'd been there for about a year, and I was hurtling, doing 70 miles an hour down the A14. Now, the A14 is this motorway that I had to go on, and I was doing 70 miles an hour. And I had such a panic attack going into work. And I realized that I was potentially putting people in harm's way. And I didn't want to hurt anybody. I didn't want to kill myself. I didn't want to kill anybody. But when you're in a motor vehicle doing 70 miles an hour, it's a weapon and can have potentially huge consequences. So I managed to get off this motorway, and I managed to get to work. I don't know how. I can't remember what happened. I don't even know how I got off the motor. I don't even know how I didn't have an accident. And I got to work, and I phoned my husband, and I explained to him what happened. And he said, that's it. You need to quit that job. And I did. I walked in and I said, I'm handing in my verbal resignation. You'll have it in writing tomorrow. Because I just couldn't take it anymore. It had just boiled up and boiled up and boiled up to the point that I had a panic attack going into work. And that, looking back, I realized I'd had a load of little panic attacks, which I just managed to just shrug off, I'll just deal with it. But when it came to the point of putting myself and others at risk, that was my wake-up call. And I'm just so grateful and so thankful that nobody was hurt. It's a busy motorway.
I can imagine. So we're out of time, believe it or not. This half an hour goes by so quickly. But before we wrap, what would you like to leave with someone watching this show that I didn't ask you? I try to cover everything, but it's difficult to do that in 30 minutes. So I want to give you the chance to leave a message for people.
What will I say? My biggest thing is follow your heart, follow your dreams, and don't let others stomp on you. One thing that has guided me for 8 years is a quote that I read from Richard Branson. And it was, if somebody offers you an opportunity, say yes. Then panic on how you're going to fulfill that opportunity. And that's something I read about 8 years ago. And from that, I've always taken the idea of say yes and then panic. Because once you've said yes, what you've done is you've opened the door to opportunity. Is you can work it out, you can ask questions, you can ask for help because you know what you've said yes to. But if you say no, that opportunity is gone and you can't necessarily get it back. And this is something that has guided me for 8 years, is when there's been times when I've been really terrified or really scared or having to stand on stage and give a speech, or when I joined Toastmasters to help me, it was because I said yes and then panicked on how I was going to do it. And there's always ways that you can find out. So that is one bit of advice that I'll say, is say yes to opportunities because you can do it. Read books on personal development or stories that from people who inspire you. Shonda Rhimes, I'm sure that most of your audience might know who Shonda Rhimes is. Her year of saying yes I mean, it's a powerful book on its own, and the stories behind it, and just the power of grabbing opportunities that you can. And if you really want to change things in your life, find the right people to help you. Coaches, mentors, anybody who can help you. There's a lot of people out there who can help. Take a chance on yourself. Say yes to yourself, and really go out there, be who you want to be, and go and step into that identity and that person that has a lot of potential.
Natalie, thank you so much. It was lovely to meet you. I always really value people who will find the courage to do what needs to be done to live a better life. We all have that choice. And if we would just try and stifle fear, just shut it up, we can do so much more than we really credit ourselves for. And listening to you is just confirmation that all you have to do is identify the problem or find those areas in your life where you feel blocked or where you struggle, and overcome them, because every single one of them can be overcome. Can be overcome in some way or another.
Definitely.
So I know that I've sort of infringed on your evening tonight. So thank you so much. And I am hopefully this will have an impact on someone's life. And
thank you so much for having me.
I've loved it. And thank you for watching Conversations with Jennylyn, when a conversation is all you need to be inspired. And hopefully you are gathering tons of inspiration from Natalie. And I will see you next time.
Broadcasting from Silicon Valley, California, this is Conversations with Jennylyn.